Thank you. Welcome everybody to January 25th, 2022, 6:15 p.m. open session meeting of the Ayer Planning Board. Before we approve the agenda, I'd like to read the governor's message. Due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, in accordance with Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, public bodies otherwise governed by the open meeting law are temporarily relieved from the requirement that meetings be held in public places, open and physically accessible to the public, so long as measures are taken to ensure public access to the body's deliberations through adequate alternative means. Excuse me. This meeting will be live on Zoom. The public may participate remotely by joining Zoom meeting ID 833-654-80732 or by calling 929-205-6099. For additional information about remote participation, please contact Heather Hampson, Administrative Coordinator at hhampson@ayer.ma.us or 978-772-8220, extension 144 prior to the meeting. Thank you all. May I have a motion, please, to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Nathan. Thank you, Jonathan. Moved and second. Any discussion on the agenda?
Yeah, are we going to compress the old business tonight, Chair?
Let's touch on what's here. I think we can do it quickly, if it's okay with you. Yeah. Thanks. Only because I think we've got some calendaring to do with it. But just we'll just touch the tops of the waves for this evening. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Krantz, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you, Nathan. How do you vote?
Aye.
And chair votes aye. Thank you. We don't have any covenant releases this evening, so how about Mr. Krantz, please do your magic.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to continue the public hearing for the definitive subdivision, Wright Road, Stratton Hill.
Second.
Thank you for the second, Nathan. Any discussion? Mr. Krantz, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. King, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
I'd like to make a motion, we continue the public hearing for the stormwater management permit, Wright Road, Stratton Hill.
Second.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Nathan. Any discussion? Hearing none. Jonathan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you, Nathan. How do you vote?
Aye.
And chair votes aye.
I'd like to make a motion, we continue the site plan review for air zoning bylaws, section 9.6, land clearing and grading, Wright Road, Stratton Hill.
Second.
Thank you for the motion, Jonathan. Thank you for the second, Nathan. Any discussion? Hearing none. Jonathan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Nathan?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Just so you know, I'm trying to be more family friendly by doing first names.
Thank you.
Not too formal the whole time. Okay, great. Thank you. May I catch us up, Mark, on what's going on?
Yes.
Okay.
I will read something into the record. We received a letter a few days ago dated January 20th, 2022. And it reads, "Dear board members, thank you for the letter of the 4th." And that's the letter that I sent out on January 4th. "I have discussed this with Mr. Moulton. We agree that it would make sense to withdraw the current submissions and to subsequently resubmit the redesigned plan together with all accompanying materials in one package. Accordingly, may I respectfully request on behalf of my client that the board vote to allow my client to withdraw without prejudice the pending definitive subdivision submission, stormwater application, and site plan review application for the proposed Stratton Hill subdivision on Wright Road. Would the board also kindly vote to allow a credit for the unused portion of the filing fee when we resubmit? Thanking the board for its time and consideration, I remain very truly yours, Robert L. Collins, the attorney for the project."
Thank you very much. Just to put this in context, we have been waiting to hear back from the proponent for Stratton Hill. We approached them asking them to withdraw because they didn't seem to be ready to move forward. And so do you have any further discussion from members of the board about this? Hearing none, I think Jonathan, would you please put together a motion?
Yes, I'd like to Do we need three separate motions for each portion of this, Jeff?
I would suggest that we move to accept the letter
Yeah,
Okay, I'd like to make a motion.
regarding the withdrawal without prejudice.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion that the board accept the letter dated January 20th from Robert L. Collins, the attorney representing the applicant for the Stratton Hill Wright Road project, and that we accept their desire to withdraw without prejudice.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Nathan, for seconding. Further discussion. I do have something I'd like to say. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to say?
Yes, there are two items there, Mark. I think that we should include them in the motion. They were the credit and what was the second one?
okay, the last line of the letter is, would the board also kindly vote to allow a credit for the unused portion of the filing fee when we resubmit?
And what was it? They had a second request besides the credit.
Well, the
No,
only
it's just a
request
withdrawal.
basically is to withdraw without prejudice, the three
Okay.
applications.
Okay,
Yeah, the
Thank you.
second request in the letter is about the credit.
so
Yeah, I had broken those down to two motions, so that's why I stated the
Oh.
motion with just the first one, yeah.
okay. Okay,
Okay. So I just want to give a little background on this. I already did. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Jonathan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Nathan?
aye.
And chair votes aye to approve the withdrawal without prejudice. Mr. Krantz, would you like to do your second motion?
I'd like to make a motion that the board accept the applicant's attorney's request to allow credit for the unused portion of the filing fee if and when they choose to resubmit for Stratton Hill.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you for the second, Nathan. Any discussion on this? If I may, I ask Mark to take a quick look at this. We did receive the letter over the weekend. It's difficult at this point in time to figure out what monies have been spent and what haven't on behalf of the project. And a quick look at it is they have an application fee, which is $1,000, and they've got a per lot fee that they gave us. We have a fee, we hold cash monies from them somewhere around $10,000 on this project right now. So we're going to, just so the board understands, we're going to need to do some sort of accounting and figure out what that next step is. Okay. But any further discussion on this or questions about it?
And that falls to Mark or Heather?
The office will take care of it. Mark and Heather will take care of it. I
Okay.
mean, they have to post, there are newspaper fees, contact, some we can't charge, some they pay off. We got to get the accounting done. And since the letter came to us over the weekend, it was not something we could accomplish by now. But I like the idea of accepting the withdrawal so that we have this off our plate and we don't continue going from week to week with nothing going on, or meeting to meeting with nothing going on. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Nathan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jonathan?
Aye.
The chair votes aye. Thank you very much. We have to close. Let's close the hearings.
Yeah, let's close the hearings. I'd like to make a motion. We close the public hearing for the definitive subdivision, Wright Road, Stratton Hill.
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. Jonathan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Nathan?
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
I'd like to make a motion that we close the public hearing for the stormwater management permit, Wright Road, Stratton Hill.
Second.
Thank you for the second, Nathan. Any discussion? Hearing none. We'll go backwards this time. Nathan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jonathan?
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
I make a motion that we close the site plan review for air zoning bylaw 9.6, land clearing and grading for Wright Road, Stratton Hill.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you for the second, Nathan. Any further discussion? Nathan, I got you. How do you vote, Nathan?
Aye.
Jonathan?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Fantastic. That one's off our plate for a while. Thank you very much. Mark, what do you got for town planner update?
Okay, for this evening, I just wanted to announce that the open space residential development design guideline and regulation working group will be resuming its meetings starting this Thursday at 10 a.m. And Jonathan and Ken Diskin are part of this group. So I look forward to working on those, and what these will be are regulations that we can adopt as part of our subdivision regulations to better guide and give guidance on the process of doing an OSRD subdivision plan. So we'll be coming back to the full board once we have a draft that, you know, is good to go. So hopefully that will be within a month or so.
Thank you very much, Mark. Mark, your video just failed.
Oh, yeah,
That's okay. Just let
it's
you
the
know.
connection. I know you don't want to look at me
Yeah.
anyway.
No, that's okay. Okay,
All right.
great. Thank you very much on the update. Any other
Yeah.
questions about the update or discussion from the board? Hearing none. Meeting minutes for January 11th, Mr. Krantz. Thank you for doing the edits.
Yes, I'd like, and there were very few, by the way,
Mhm.
so just want to note that. Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the meeting minutes as amended for the January 11th, 2022 Air Planning Board meeting.
Second.
Oh, thank you,
Oh,
Nathan, for seconding. That's okay. Any discussion on this? Hearing none. Nathan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jonathan?
Aye.
And chair votes aye. Thank you very much. This brings us to our administrative announcement section of the evening. And we're going to talk a little bit about old business. We've all got a lot going on, and I wanted to take a minute and just do a quick update. The tree on the agenda, it says update tree plan. Mr. Krantz, would you take a few minutes and walk us through this, please?
Sure. So this was something shepherded by Mark Wetzel, our former director of DPW, who's serving now in as capacity as a consultant to DPW. And he presented it first to a working group of which I was a part. And then at the last select board meeting, I believe he presented it, the final report there as well. The report is comprehensive. It includes a detailed inventory of our trees in Ayer, publicly owned trees and public rights of way. And it lists them by condition and status with recommendations for what to do next with them. There's a very few that are in such a condition they need to be immediately removed. There are others that need to be watched. There are others that need to be pruned. And these were all detailed by the consultant. Included with this package was also access to a software that can be adjusted and updated to reflect any changes in the inventory of trees. As they're cut down, as new trees are added, we can update that software and have a dynamic record of what's going on. I think a few important things to know about this tree survey is that the consultant also articulated in dollars and cents the value of our trees, and it runs. And forgive me, I don't have the report in front of me, but something around $300,000 a year to Ayer, and benefits including improvements to air quality, reduction of energy use through cooling, etc. The consultants also suggested a 10-year plan. So the idea is that we don't respond to this report overnight. They recommend phasing this over 10 years, and they have a recommended budget. And Mark Wetzel's in the process of negotiating with the select board about what the proposed budget should be and what should be presented to the town meeting. Finally, I just want to note that the report, and Mark Wetzel, I believe, agrees with me, was really well done in a great deal of depth, very comprehensive, very rational, with a great deal of insight, and also, and in a way also that it could be practically applied. This was not a sense where they said, okay, rip this down and replace with that. That's not what this project came up with. I think on a very positive note, the dominant trees that were inventoried reflect what should be the dominant trees in this portion of New England. So that's good. That's good news. It's not a story where we have a lot of invasive species or ornamentals dominating. We don't. The trees that dominate our landscape are mostly the natural forested trees, with the one major exception being the Norway maple. And that's to be expected. That was very commonly planted, I think, to replace elms and chestnuts earlier in the mid 20th century. So the report, I think, mostly very positive for Ayer. We have the right mix of trees, and most of them are healthy, and we got a clear understanding of which trees need to be maintained and how.
Thank you very much. I will add one sentence to that before we move on. If you hadn't had an opportunity to see the selectmen's meeting, the last selectmen's meeting where Mr. Wetzel actually presented the tree plan, it's a good presentation, and it's worth it. Now, Jonathan, I think you did a really good job laying that out. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Next
Quick
on,
question.
sure. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nathan.
Just quick question, Jonathan. Was there also a recommendation for the green space, that public green space, to add trees?
There were suggestions for I don't know that they specified locations for adding trees, but they did make recommendations for species to
Okay.
replace. So when we add or replace, they have some recommendations for appropriate trees. I think based on one, are they appropriate for our environment and habitat? And two, I think, you want trees that are long-lived, that don't create a lot of damage, et cetera. So they made species recommendations. I'm not sure that they specifically targeted spaces that put trees here.
Okay.
I think that's left at our discretion.
Yeah, and yes, I have the same, having read through it and seen the presentation. And Mr. Krantz did a great job of leaving me a voicemail about it last week. One of the things we need to tackle as a planning board is when we get applicants coming in, the raising of all trees on our property is something that I would like us, as we have done, is to push against it. There's a
Yeah.
true dollar cost to raising all the trees.
Yes,
And people are becoming more and more aware of that, and the value they give, the value that they provide. So
in fact, Mr. Wetzel also suggested to us, the planning board, is saying, as we revisit the OSRD regulations and part of this work group, it would probably be appropriate to discuss tree replacement and planting. The OSRD does a fantastic job of leaving a large space, at least 50%, relatively undisturbed. And of course, we save those trees. But all too often, the places that are developed can feel a bit barren, and you can see through different subdivisions exactly what we're talking about. So he's thinking maybe it's time for the planning board to think, as a requirement in our OSRD process, is some kind of replanting schedule. I'm not sure what that would look like. I think it merits discussion.
I appreciate that. And we did work hard with the proponent for Panther Place to leave 26 or 25 trees in place. And from what I understand, almost all of them made it so far, which is great. Thank you. Next on our list is the light industrial zone square footage debate. As we know, we have a scrivener's error in the bylaws where a table says 120,000 square foot per lot is required, and the pros says 20,000 square feet per lot. We have gone to KP Law. KP Law has recommended that we take this to the town for to town meeting. So we'll be looking at the opportunity to put together a warrant article for this. In the same vein, West Main Street Form-Based Code District, we recently added that to the bylaw, and Mr. Diskin, who's not here this evening, has gone through it and recognized a couple will be scrivener's errors there also. So he's going to work, we're going to work with Alan Benoit at the Office of Economic Development, and there may indeed be an opportunity to bring an article before the town meeting to fix that. It's basically spelling errors is what we're going to try, effectively typos is what we're going to be looking at. We had looked for a second way to do it, but there's, from what we understand, no way under Massachusetts law that would be acceptable, except going to town, which is the right place to go. Town meeting is the people who sets our bylaws. Next on my list is rock removal bylaw. And in conversations with Mr. Archambault, I don't know if this needs to be a bylaw or if it can be a regulation. And I'm going to say it. Bylaws set things in stone. I came to the planning board here in Ayer 7 years ago, and we've been unsetting things in stone because our bylaw used to be reactive to the past way of doing development. If you look at form-based code, if you look at OSRD, we're now being proactive and almost prescriptive. So that's why I asked the question, do you think we can do a rock removal regulation in our subdivision and in our OSRD? So when there's when there's a situation where there is rock removal like Central Avenue, we're not in a position where it's got to be done. There's a process. There is a bylaw that was recently approved by the Attorney General's office, which is something of a guideline. So one of the projects we're gonna pick up, guys, is I'm gonna ask you to. We'll send out an email about it. We'll send that out again, and let's get some thinking on that in the future. Because if we get the answer from, and I asked Mark today to look into this bylaw versus regulation. If we can do a regulation, I think we can do something pretty quickly, and start to get the town's arms around the disruptive nature of rock removal during projects. I'm gonna move a couple things around. On the next on our list is the refresh of looking forward. That's a little bit cryptic. Last May, we did a quick looking forward presentation. I've got it here again. I kind of want to go through it quickly with the board, just to where we were. Stratton Hill showed up. Stratton Hill's been holding us from moving forward in some areas. And so it's time to take a look at this, figure out if there's stuff on there we want to continue to work on. I'll do that in a moment at the end. And an update on short-term rentals. We were approached by the affordable housing group here in town to ask about what would be a good way to handle short-term rentals, Airbnb. If the town wants to actually step forward and do that, hand in glove with, can we do it through regulation versus bylaw? Mark, I've asked Mark also to follow up on that. The Commonwealth of Massachusetts has adopted a short-term rental law. It exists. City of Boston's done something that is as extensive as, if you're going to do an Airbnb, you got to list it with the city. You got to be you can't have any complaints against you as a landlord. You've got to be in good stead and all that. I'm not sure we need that in Ayer. That's an extra level of management that we may not want, but it also has language in it that we might want to think about, like how many days for an Airbnb. It's disruptive to a neighborhood to have people moving in and out, in and out, in and out all the time. We saw that with the pushback for ZBA on the on the use on Sandy Pond. So is there a balancing point? Some number of days and a larger number of days. And I'm not going to throw numbers out because I don't want to start the argument or start the discussion. But I'll forward again the Mass General Law and the work I've done on that to the board so that we can take a look at it and again have an informed discussion about it at some point in the near future.
Yep. Question,
Thanks.
Jeff,
Yeah.
did you say the Commonwealth has a model bylaw actually on this?
The Commonwealth doesn't have a model bylaw that I'm aware of, that I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yep.
The city of Boston has written a bylaw. Other towns have written bylaws, but like the Cape has a bylaw for short-term rental.
Right, the Cape Cod Commission probably.
However, Cape Cod Commission is a different animal than we are. They are a tourist-based industry.
Right.
We're not. You know, they struggle also with the big and small area affordable housing, opportunities for townsfolk to live. I think the reason this got brought to us is we have a very limited rental stock here in town, and we'd like to maintain that rental stock. We want to keep our folks who grew up here, and Airbnb chips away at that. Is how it's perceived. Yes, Mr. Krantz.
You just raised a great point that's been on my mind. In fact, I wish this could be, I almost wish we could have two parties representing the poles of the debate and actually hear the debate and hear the arguments, because I see the conflict being, as you said, is on the one hand is desire not to reduce the available rental stock of which is limited, and to ensure that that's not corrupted. But at the same time, we want to respect the right of property owners to have some flexibility with their property. And I think that's also necessary. So I think that, what we're looking for is not absolutes, but the appropriate balance of both of these desirable goals.
And I think that's really well put. And all of a sudden, I've recently had a lot of contact with my college roommate, who was the president of UMass Debate Club. University of Massachusetts Debate Club. And his brother was, I think, president of BC, his twin brother was at BC in the debate society there. I think there are actually, Mr. Krantz, not articles, but briefs written or amicus, a friend of the court conversations that are available for us. I will do my favor to look for amicus writing on this on both sides of the issue and get that out.
Thank you.
If you want to have a debate, I'm happy to do it. You want to take for or against?
I'm not sure, you know, I
like the idea.
I just think it merits, I think it merits for us and also for just the town and the citizens to know what the issues are before we leap in and understand that there's compelling arguments on both sides. And I think that'll help guide us and avoid the dead end trap of either or either extreme, and understand, no, there are nuances here that do matter. And in both directions. And I just want to be sure we're cognizant of that while we still have the opportunity to work with a fresh slate.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with you. And the reason I mentioned Cape Cod is the pressure on the natural resources of Cape Cod. Ayer's aquifer is Cape Cod writ small.
Yeah.
We have very similar pressures. If you go to the Cape, they have a military base that has put huge pressure on a portion of the Cape. We've got the same thing here. So there are some parallels in that. With that, I wanted to talk about, just quickly go over the looking forward that we did last year.
Great.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. And because I can't see it, can you all see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and what I can't, there we go. So this is something we did on the I think it was the first, whatever, one of the meetings last May. So this was looking forward. The next one, the future's so bright, or be careful what you wish for. At the time, we had Catania Spania going on with the expansion. That expansion is moving forward very quickly. Panther Place, the definitive subdivision plan, we've accepted it. They've got the groundwork done over there. They added the 2 duplexes. They're moving forward with that. We were at McDonald's site plan review. McDonald's is open again.
Yep.
It's being, and it's busy all the time. And I have yet to go over there and be stopped by traffic, backed up on the road, waiting to get in. And I've been over there intentionally at the times when they used to be really busy, not on a weekend. 14 Washington Street is up to site plan review and special permits application. Mark, where are we with that one?
Oh, they withdrew without prejudice as well.
Thank you. That's the fire station. The
fire station. Yep.
Stratton Hill, I'm going to jump right by because we just took care of that. Plant Builders Willow Road site plan review and Aquifer District special permit. I don't recall off the top of my head with that. Mr. Diskin had that one. Have we heard back from them?
You know, I think they went away.
Yeah, I think they actually got really quiet. Yeah.
Yeah.
The marijuana cultivation operation that was over on Fitchburg, in the Fitchburg road area, mushroom cultivation facility, same thing. They've lost interest in moving forward with those projects. Form-based code project for 3 to 5 Park Street. That is
that never finished either. And you know, where Alan and I are both wondering, you know, what happened with that exactly. And
yep. Exactly.
You know, it's possible we may get something else on the lot that's right next to the pharmacy where they took down the old building. Exactly. That possibly will come in this year. So we might have a form-based code project relatively soon.
That would be great. The comprehensive permit, Chapter 40B, multifamily project on 76 Fitchburg Road. There are not a lot of tea leaves to read, but the ones that I understand that are out there are saying that they haven't hit any real roadblocks at this point. So that's winding its way through the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Okay.
Yep. And Mark, just excuse me, Jeff.
No, go ahead, please.
What about the Shop and Save commercial expansion? No word from them?
No word from them, though we gave them a site plan extension last year. So It's just a matter of them, coming in to see Charlie to, I think, get their building permits. But I have not heard anything,
Yeah, well, they had a hiccup that they needed to address, but okay, you haven't heard anything.
no.
Okay.
Yeah, didn't they design over their detention system?
Correct.
They were going back to the drawing board because they had put the road in the wrong
Oh,
place.
that's it, yes,
Yep,
right.
exactly. Okay, on this screen, I think we've hit some of these in the middle. We're commuting with the involved town departments, getting set timelines, engaging independent experts as needed for project review where needed. We are doing that. Aware of each other's workload and cooperative to accomplish the task in a regulatory timeframes, and remaining realistic regarding the pace of work, tracking of projects, and PERT charting. And the other major point is maintaining public engagement, encouraging public input. At this point, I'm gonna pull this off the screen so I can see you all. And I'm gonna talk a moment about project management, Gantt, and stuff like that. I did speak with Mark about this, Mark Archambault about this today, and I actually spoke with Mark Wetzel about it today too. The interleaving of the departments in town who work on projects is critical. And we're seeing that now with what's going on. McDonald's was day-to-day, building inspectors needed to be down there in order to keep that project moving forward so he could open his business again. With the project over on Devon's Crest, there are close to 400 open, different types of building permits open in town. There's sheet metal work, there's plumbing work, there's electrical work, there's Devon's, there's Panther Place. There are foundation permits going on there and out there right now. So this is becoming, it's a challenge for a small towns group to work with. And I want to say out loud that Heather's doing a phenomenal job in her role of keeping this going forward. She really is. And the conversation with Mark was, it's an important thing to have something like a Gantt or a PERT chart. It is a lot of work to stop working to build it. There's a piece of software called, it's something Gov. It's not Munis, Mark. StrongGov is a piece of software that the DPW has been looking at. It has a function in it which allows, as a project gets put into the software, it identifies the parties that need to be spoken to as it travels through the process. So an application goes to the planning board. The planning board says, yes, this definitive subdivision is ready to go. They go to the building department. Building department issues a building permit. And so we do have Julie here, good. And so that building permit gets acted upon. It gets roughed and finished inspected. Then it gets to the next step. The software StrongGov will allow for that type of stuff. When there's a handoff, conservation approves an NOI. The approval of the NOI gets put into the system. It alerts the conservation. It alerts the conservation agent. Not only is the conservation agent alert of it, but the land use group is alerted of it. Mark's office finds out. Mark Archambault's office finds out about it. The DPW finds out about it. The tasks that they have to do in order to make sure this moves forward start alerting them, as opposed to finding someone on the phone, walking into their office, sending an email. I know automation is probably not the most wonderful thing in the world. Sometimes I hate it when my calendar tells me I got something to do, but the goal is fewer things falling through the cracks. I recently read an article, and this is something I'd like to follow up with the proponent for Panther Place. Towns that do really good planning, proponents come to the town and know what to do. They get through the process. Mark Archambault has been sitting in that chair for 3 or 4 years now. Mark, has it been that long?
Going on 4, yeah.
Yeah, 4 years. We now have a process between what Heather's done and what Mark has done, where a proponent comes to town and knows what they have to do. I can't tell you what it was like in the beginning when an engineer would argue with the planning board over what the next step was going to be. That happens. So prescriptive zoning, proponents who understand what they have to do, a legible and understandable bylaw. These are really wonderful things we've been able to do. So we've just put a couple on our list of light industrial, the OSRD. Thank you, Jonathan and Ken in absentia for taking care of that with them. And I will continue to work at this point on getting you all stuff for short-term rentals and rock removal regulations.
Great.
It'd be nice if we can do that. And we're going to have to spend some time at our next meeting in February. If we're going to put together articles for the upcoming town meeting, we have to hold the hearings in March.
Mhm.
The town warrants open has to be closed by April 1st, I believe, which means we have to hold the
Correct.
hearings. And if we hold the hearings, we got to do it in March. So I hate to say it, Mark, but you're gonna have a little bit of work that's got to get
No,
done in
and
the
that,
next
that's
couple of
fine.
weeks.
Yeah, and that means posting the notice in February, basically. In fact, as soon as we can.
Yeah.
I can take care of the light industrial one, right away.
Okay.
It'll take a little bit more work in coordination with Alan to find out what the corrections are for the West Main Street Form-Based Code District.
Yep.
But we can get going on that right away too.
Okay, great. I also offered Mark today to reach out to Alan also, and we can work with Member Diskin about what he found. Again, I think he found some typographical errors, and it's pretty straightforward. Anybody have any new business they want to take care of?
Jeff,
Yeah, Heather. Excuse me.
I went through and gathered all the information as far as building permits that have been issued for the items that the planning board had approved over the last year.
Thank
If you'd
you.
like me to give updates on that for you,
I
I
would-
can do that.
You know,
Yeah,
we
please.
talked about that, Heather. I'd like, I was gonna follow up with you today, but I didn't get a chance. Please, that's
Oh, that's
awesome,
okay.
Heather.
So as far as Curly Circle goes, and I got these numbers for Susan too, because people have been registering to vote with her. There's been 13 building permits issued and 7 certificates of occupancy issued. For Washington Street, the 2 duplexes have been pulled for Joe Levine, and the 2 single-family houses for the A&R lots have been pulled. Shaker Road for Aho, there's been 2 house building permits pulled. Air Solar 2, they have applied for their electrical permit, so they're getting ready to do that work there. As far as tying stuff in, I'm assuming, I know there's been issues over there, but just the electrical permit's been pulled on that. McDonald's obviously has issued getting their certificate of completion. I emailed the engineer today because I know Ken Diskin always likes to get as-built for those. So I
Yep.
requested an as-built. It wasn't part of our condition, but he has to do one for the Conservation Commission anyway, so they're gonna give us a copy of that.
I'm gonna say, I think when we were sitting on site with them, we made that agreement. I know it's informal, but we agreed for that, Heather.
Yeah, so I asked him for a copy of that, so they're gonna get that. They don't know where they are in drafting that, but they'll get a copy of that to us.
Fantastic, fantastic. That's great. And the other one is the rehab permits. I mean, that's just the stuff the planning board has done. The
Yeah,
rehab
so,
permits over on Devon's Crest, what's going on over
yeah,
there?
the only ones we have issued, I issued 35 plumbing, 35 gas, and 35 sheet metal. Those units, they pulled those permits on. They say they will need to do insulation, but they're just waiting to get the proper licenses in the state because they're out of New Hampshire. And once
Appreciate
they have those, I'm assuming I'm gonna get 35 building permits.
Yep. And as you all probably know, each building permit comes with an opportunity to go out, inspect at least once, maybe twice. If there's an issue found, they have to go back out and re-inspect. The door on Charlie's office opens and closes a lot every day. Thank you very much, Heather. I really do appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Yeah, thanks. Mr. Valentine, is it? Did you want to speak to the board?
You're muted, Chris.
Still nothing.
Huh.
Try again.
Yeah, I don't see the mute symbol, but
Yeah, we can't hear you, Chris.
Yeah, try it again.
No.
Nothing.
Well,
But
maybe
I
you
tell
could
you, you
type
got
a
me.
question.
Now I'm curious.
The
Do you want
chat.
to try? Yeah, you
Well,
want to
he's-
try? Yeah, usually.
While he's working on that, just one
Yeah.
quick note, Mr. Chair, on your comments about organizing, if I may. Organizing all these permits, and thank you, Heather. That's it's a lot to pull together and a lot of work. I'll just make two comments in the spirit of Jonathan's request to debate. I'll pick the pro and con side, which is you make a good point that because we are structured and we have timeframes for a lot of the events that go on and who's responsible, it does lend itself to some automation. That's my pro, and my con is in my experience, I have not yet come across any software that doesn't require some amount of administration.
Yeah.
This is
So
true.
if we proceed with some tool, we should be well aware that whoever is going to administer it, it will require some time beyond the initial setup to maintain. So just something to be aware of.
I think that's actually a very valid point. And one of the conversations that has been happening in the background is the tools that are needed, because we're a paper-based system now. Do we need to have people out in the field with handheld devices where it's updating on a regular basis? That's a question. And my understanding is StrongGov allows for that. So that may not happen in the first round, but it may happen in the second round. If that's Mr. King, if you're done, Mr. Valentine, you want to try it again?
I rejoined the audio. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we
Yes.
can.
Great. It was unmuted, but technology, lovely. So I just wanted to comment on the OpenGov platform. I just recently opened and closed a building permit in the town of Lunenburg. And I used that OpenGov platform as the first time user, and it was like super streamlined. And I appreciated it a lot from an end user perspective, but I recognize, because in my day job, I also work in IT administration, and maintenance of IT systems is horrible. So, for good or bad, there's two comments for your board.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Valentine, I used to own a software integration company. I think I've been there. But then again, guys like you are young. You get paid less than I could get paid. So you got hired. Fantastic. Anything else in the way of new business anybody wants to bring up this evening?
There's James O'Connor is in here. I don't know if he wanted to say anything.
Nope. I
Okay.
guess not. Jonathan.
Yes, if there's no further comments, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you for seconding, Nathan. Any conversation? Hearing none. Nathan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jonathan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. And chair votes aye. And this might have been our fastest meeting to date, 7:01 p.m.